The path to Naples starts here. From the YOGI BERRA Museum and Learning Center in Little Falls, New Jersey, the 2016 FBU National Championship Draw is next. Good evening and welcome to the 2016 FBU National Championship Draw. I'm SIKA. We are excited to be here at the YOGI BERRA Museum and Learning Center in Little Falls, New Jersey. We want to extend a special welcome to our studio audience, FBU representatives from Southern New Jersey and Team Director Stan Crowder. And representatives from Northern New Jersey, Team Director Scotty Mack. Our path to Naples is presented by the Naples, Marco Island and Everglades CVB, and we are on the way to the National Championship for 2016. It's the 6th year of the tournament, and to introduce what's new with this year's event is the VP of Player Development for Football University, Steve Quinn.
Wow, thanks, Neil. We've come a long way. We sure have. It's an exciting time for all of us at All-American Games. As Neil was saying, this is our 6th year that we're going to be running the biggest tournament in the country, the FBU National Championships. With 64 cities, 192 teams, it is the world's largest, most competitive middle school tournament in the country. Last year, we saw Broward County, Florida, win a national championship at the 6th and 7th grade level. North Texas three-peat for the first time in Football University National Championship history. And over 25 athletes received Division I scholarship offers coming from our tournament, which is absolutely amazing. Since January, much of our time has been spent on how we reduce travel for our teams while still putting on a first-class event. We think we've succeeded on both those events. This year's regional games begin December 2nd at 7 sites across the country. 24 teams will be in 6 locations, and 48 teams will be in our South bracket. The first 3 rounds will take place that weekend, with 2 winners from each grade level advancing to beautiful Naples, Florida. 8 teams at each grade level playing in Florida's Paradise Coast. In addition, each one of our 24 teams this year will have a week off in between travel time to get to Naples. Each team will have 3 guaranteed games when they get to Naples this year. So with that all said, the stage is now set. It's time to begin your show. So sit back, enjoy, and as they say, get your popcorn ready.
Thank you, Steve. After a quick break, we'll unveil the 2016 FBU National Championship bracket.
You can ask any coach, player, or fan. Before the beaches, the golf courses, the sunsets, Florida is known for football. But in Naples, Marco Island, you get them all. With the facilities and accommodations perfect for your off-season training, tournament, or event. Florida's Paradise Coast is Florida's sports paradise.
Welcome back to the 2016 FBU National Championship Draw. I'm SIKA. To conduct our 64 teams across 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, please welcome the FBU National Championship governing body. Drawing out of the Northeast, Colonel Tom Representing the Midwest, ERIK Richards. The South will be selected by Joe BOUFFARD. And we'll start in the West with Steve QUINN. As you see, the balls are separated in red and yellow colors. The red will play in Placer Valley, California, just outside of Sacramento. This is by order of selection. There are no seedings for these first round selections, and they are across the board in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. The first team into the 2016 FBU National Championship field. Steve? San Diego. First round participant in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade last year. Lost to Utah. In the second matchup, in Placer Valley, California, Central Valley. And we'll look for their first win in the tournament. Our third representative, up just north of Sacramento, is Las Vegas. The 8th graders from Las Vegas made the national semifinal last year, where they lost to North Texas. And the fourth matchup will feature Columbia Basin, outside of the Seattle area, in Spokane and Tacoma. Staying in Placer Valley, San Diego's opponents will be Reno. Reno's 7th and 8th grade teams made the second round last year. Central Valley, California will take on Oregon. A power on the rise. They've placed 3 teams in the national semifinals in the tournament's 5-year history. Las Vegas will take on Sacramento. Regional semifinal participants in all grade levels last year for Sacramento. And our final team, Bay Area Metro, to play up in Placer Valley, California. That's the top half of the brackets. And now Steve will do the honors on the bottom portion, which will be played in Sacramento proper. The first team selected is Colorado. Known as Denver last year. Modest success with appearances in the second round. For the second matchup down in Sacramento, it's SoCal, formerly known as Orange County. Made the second round last year in the 7th and 8th grade levels, where they lost to LA. The third matchup features Inland Empire, California. Former NFL quarterback Achilles Smith is their team director. And the fourth matchup is Seattle. Seattle has sent 5 teams down to the national semifinals, with 2 runner-up finishes in 7th and 8th grade. Back around the matchup, Colorado will play Phoenix in Sacramento. These are games that will kick off December 2nd through the 5th, the first 3 rounds. Eastern Washington is on the board. They'll meet SoCal in their round 1 matchup. They've been accustomed to playing Seattle through the years. Utah, their 8th graders made the national championship game in 2014. They'll be paired against Inland Empire. And Los Angeles will meet Seattle for our final matchup in the West in Sacramento. Los Angeles made the regional semifinal last year. They lost to Las Vegas. That's your 2016 West bracket. We move along to the South, and Joe BOUFFARD will do the honors. All of these games will be played within Gwinnett County, Georgia. The first team on the dotted line is Houston, moving from what was known as the Plains Regional, which is now the Midwest. They've had great success. Their 6th grade team won the title 2 years ago. East Carolina New to the field, Brian Batts is their team director. They'll be in matchup 2. Our third team into the South is East Tennessee, another debutante. Jeff Potts, their team director, based out of the Knoxville area. Our fourth team in the top part of the South bracket, Georgia Middle School. 2 years ago, had modest success, but went out in the first round in all 3 grade levels in 2015. GFL, powerhouse 8th grade championship teams in 2012 and 2013. They'll meet Houston in a dandy of a first round matchup. Broward County, displaying excellence the last 2 years. They've put 5 teams into the national semifinal. They'll meet East Carolina in their first matchup. Sarasota will get East Tennessee. Sarasota lost in the first round to Southwest Florida in all grade levels last year. GMSAA will play Jacksonville to conclude the top half of the South bracket. Second round for the 6th graders last year, returning a lot of players. To the bottom portion of the South, it's South Atlanta. First round participants last year in 2015. The second game down in the bottom part of the bracket will feature Mississippi. They are new. Dakota Gooden is the team director. Our third team in the bottom portion of the South, Dade County, whose 8th graders made the regional final. They lost to GFL. Central Florida, the first FBU national champion in 2011 at the 8th grade level, will be on that final matchup in the bottom half of the South. Now their opponents. South Atlanta will play Kentucky. And Kentucky made the Final 5 in 2011. Regional semifinalists in 7th and 8th grade last year. Tampa, many think they could be a surprise in 2016. They will play Mississippi. They made the regional semifinals at all 3 grade levels in 2015. Louisiana will play Dade County in their first round matchup. We had several teams make the second round last year. Completing the South bracket is Southwest Florida. They will play Central Florida as these games take place December 2nd through the 5th in Gwinnett County, Georgia. That's your 2016 South Regional Bracket. Two sites played in the Midwest, and one site will feature 8 teams, as well as Wichita, Kansas. They'll feature the other 8. Overland Park is our first destination, and Eric Richards has the first team on the board going into the Midwest, renamed from the Plains Regional over the last 4 years of the tournament. Dallas Metro will step in on that top line. This has been a hotbed for North Texas through the years. Illinois will be the second team that goes into the Midwest. These games, these top 8, will be playing in Overland Park, Kansas, suburb of Kansas City. Rio Grande Valley is on the board, joining the Midwest brackets. Second round for the 7th graders last year. And Kansas City Metro, Kansas City, Missouri, in their backyard, will play in Overland Park. Made the national semifinal in 7th grade last year. They lost to Seattle. Their opponents, Denton, Texas, will meet Dallas Metro. Denton is new. John Carroll is their team director. Illinois, who's been in the East in the past, they'll play East Denver, also a new participant in 2016. Donnie Moore, the team director for East Denver. 2 more teams to go in Overland Park. Minnesota will meet Rio Grande Valley. Second round for Minnesota in all 3 grade levels last year. And the hometown team, if you will, KC Metro will meet debutante Milwaukee in their first year. Bill Pagel is the team director. That's the top half of the Midwest bracket, those games in Overland Park, Kansas. Now, Eric, down to the bottom in Wichita, we'll see Austin. Second round appearances by their 6th and 8th grade teams in 2015. South Texas, out of the San Antonio area, regional semifinal in 7th grade last year for South Texas. Well, they are the second team that will play in Wichita. The third matchup will feature Southern Colorado. Team director Ed Jackson brings this new group aboard. And for the fourth matchup in Wichita, we'll see South Dakota. Regional semifinals is 6th graders, so keep an eye out for that 7th grade team this year. The opponents in Wichita. Austin will play West Texas. They had a 6th grade team last year. Went out in the first round. South Texas will play St. Louis. They're 8th graders going back-to-back Final Fours in 2012 and 13. Playing out of the Midwest, they'll meet South Texas. Southern Colorado gets North Texas. Made history last year. They're 8th graders, which won the title, completed the three-peat, starting back in 2013 with the 6th grade championship. And finally, to wrap up the Midwest, it's Wisconsin. Pairing is 1 after North and South Wisconsin fielded teams last year. They'll play South Dakota. That's a look at your 2016 Midwest Regional Bracket. Two sites in the Northeast Regional, and we'll start with the teams in red, displayed by Colonel Tom Nickerson. Colonel, if you would. First matchup up in Newport, Rhode Island. These games will be played. Western New York. They are new this year. Kayla Gauze, the team director. The second team is Connecticut. Regional semifinals, they lost to Southern New Jersey at the 8th grade level last year. Our third team up in Newport is New Hampshire. The 8th graders made the second round last year. They lost to Connecticut. And for the fourth matchup in Newport, Rhode Island, staying right in their backyard. Regional final for the 6th graders. Keep an eye on their 7th grade team. They held Indiana last year. The opponents, Western New York will play NYC. NYC is new. Deshaun Thomas organizing the teams for the Big Apple. Connecticut will meet New York. Second round appearance last year for the 8th graders. They'll meet Connecticut. New Hampshire, up in Rhode Island, will meet Long Island. Long Island 6th and 7th graders both advanced to the second round last year. And the host from Rhode Island, who will their opponent be? Conclude the top half of this Northeast bracket. That's Massachusetts. Final 4 participants in 2011 and 12 at the 8th grade level. We're going to move down to Rock Hill, South Carolina for the final 8 teams in the field of 64. Colonel? Our first matchup features Northern New Jersey. To take on Southern New Jersey in that tough first round last year. Maryland Metro is new, encompassing much of the D.C. area. They are in the second matchup down in Rock Hill, South Carolina. home of FBU Top Gun this past summer. Southern New Jersey, the other half of the state, and a team that was on the rise last year, regional semifinals in 6th and 7th grade, and a regional final for the 8th grader. Now the fourth team, Indiana, which has really come on strong. They've sent 3 teams to the national semifinals the last 2 years. And their opponents, the final 4 teams into the Northeast. Maryland, such a steep tradition. They'll play Northern New Jersey. Maryland has sent 6 teams through the 5 previous years to the national semifinals, more than any other program. They won't meet Maryland Metro. That'll be South Carolina doing the honors. South Carolina under Darian Brown is new to the field. Southern New Jersey will play Charlotte, and what is anticipated as a very strong first-round matchup. Second-round appearances for Charlotte last year at all 3 grade levels. The final team in to the field of 64 is Northern Virginia. They will play Indiana in their first-round matchup. That is the 2016 Northeast Regional Bracket. And that is the 2016 FBU National Championship draw. Another round of applause for our FBU National Championship governing body. I want to thank our studio audience, and you can follow along in late November on FBUNC.com for complete coverage on the path to Naples, presented by Naples, Marco Island Everglades, CVB. I'm Neil SIKA. Thanks for watching from the YOGI BERRA Museum and Learning Center in Little Falls, New Jersey. Good night.